Hello everyone and welcome to the pond. My name is Frank, aka Bullfrog TCG, and today we are taking a look at Jinx. Now Jinx can be taken in a couple different directions, but I think since this is the first video I'm doing on her, I'm just gonna do the most standard kind of obvious way of building her, which is just an aggro deck to kind of just go for the game as fast as possible. And I don't really like aggro decks in card games in general. They're not really my style. But I think this deck is actually really fun, and it also did a lot better than I thought it would. So without further ado, let's just take a look at the deck list. So Jinx, loose cannon. At the start of your beginning phase, draw one if you have one or fewer cards in your hand. So yeah, discard is the name of the game here. We kind of want to go down to a low hand size as quickly as possible. But it's also like sometimes you don't want to do that because you are in top deck mode in that way and you're drawing an extra card, which is of course really good, but you don't know what you're drawing. And if you're drawing really poorly, then this could just come back and bite you in the ass. But if your draws kind of align up, then this ability is really strong. And one of our ways of discarding is of course the Jinx champion herself, Jinx Demolitionist. 3 energy, 1 power, 4 might, accelerate, assault 2. When you play me, discard 2. So this is just a really aggressive card. It comes out swinging and has assault 2, so on attack it's going to be a 6 might unit, and then it also discards 2. So it kind of turns on our discard cards, and it also turns on the legend ability. So yeah, this is just a really strong card, but sometimes, like depending on what your hand looks like, you might not even want to play this until you want to try to go for game. And then sometimes you want to play it out early, so it really depends on how your hand is looking. But yeah, our main way of discarding is going to be the Traveling Merchant, a 2 energy, 2 might unit that says when I move, discard 1, then draw 1. This is just a very efficient way to kind of get your game rolling, and we do have some like discard payoffs as well. So if we can just play this out and then attack with it and get like discarding to kind of get some payoffs going, and this is just really good. And then also we do have the Decktech Enforcer, which is a 2 energy, 2 might unit with assault 2, and when you play me, discard 1. So this discards right away, and you can get some really good tempo if you, for example, play this and then discard the next unit, which is Flame Chompers, 3 energy, 3 might. When you discard me, you may pay 1 power to play me. So this into this is like a really good turn 1 play, because then this is going to be 4 on attack, and then this is of course 3. And then just being able to play this out on turn 1 and then conquer both battlefields on turn 2 is just really strong, because we do want to conquer points as fast as possible. So this is kind of like the aggro version of Jinx. But then we also have the Noxus Hopeful, 4 energy, 4 might, Legion, I cost 2 less. So again, this is a really aggressive deck, and like if we're on 4 runes, we can play the Traveling Merchant, for example, or we can play the Decktech Enforcer, and then since we played that, we can just play the Noxus Hopeful afterwards. So we just kind of want to puke out units as fast as possible in the early game, and then kind of get the ability here going. But our last unit is going to be Vi. Now this is our finisher. So Vi says 2 energy, 1 might, 2 energy, 1 power, 3 might, ganking, recycle 1 from trash, give me +1 might this turn. So with all our discarding, we are feeding the graveyard or the trash really quickly. So when we're gonna go for game, this is gonna be, I mean, at least like 11, 12 might, which is really good. And this synergizes really well with another card we're gonna get to. But yeah, this card it's a house in this deck. It really synergizes with the whole discard thing. And of course, it is really bad on defense. So you don't really want to play this out on like say turn 4 and attack with it, because it's just going to die on the backswing. But if you save this for the late game, then it's just going to take over. And then we're playing a couple of gears. We are playing Seal of Rage as a 3-of, reaction, add 1 fury power. Now I think like playing this as a 3-of is maybe a bit too much, but I do like it as a 1 or a 2-of, because like some of our turns, like say for example we want to play the Jinx out, we play the Jinx and then we discard 2 Flame Chompers. That means we have to recycle 4 if we want to use the Jinx with the assault as well. So just having this, being able to kind of mitigate some of that drawback is just really nice, I think. But yeah, I mean, this definitely could be, you don't have to run the full set of this, but I do like it as well. And then also we have the second payoff for discarding is Scrap Heap, 2 energy, gear. When this is played, discarded or killed, draw 1. And I mean, yeah, we're never playing it, we're never killing it, we're always discarding it. So this is just going to sit in your hand until you can Traveling Merchant or Decktech Enforcer or Jinx it out. To just like to help dig through your deck, and also just get you closer to your win cons. And then for the spells, we are playing quite a few. We are playing 3 stack deck, action, 1 energy, look at the top 3 cards of your main deck, put 1 into the hand and recycle the rest. Just a really good consistency tool to kind of get what you need. We're playing 3 gust, 1 energy, reaction, return a unit at a battlefield with 3 might or less to its owner's hand. Now, this slot is kind of like, I'm going back and forth between playing gust and playing the Hextech Ray, because they kind of do the same thing. I mean, they both care about like 3 might, but the thing about gust is that if you remove something, it's just gone. But then Hextech Ray can also be used on bigger stuff to kind of trade with something. So I'm not really sure. This also doesn't require a recycle, which is real relevant. So I mean, I'm kind of going back and forth between it, but for now I think Gust is, I mean, it's a really good card, but I don't know which one I prefer the most. But for now I'm running this. And then we are playing 3 Ride the Wind. Now this is the card that synergizes with the Vi, because Vi has ganking. So what you can do for 4 might or for 4 energy is play off the Vi, and then recycle the whole trash to give your Vi plus 10, and then you can Ride the Wind, move a friendly unit and ready it. So 2 energy, 1 power, action, move a friendly unit and ready it. And then when you move this, it's gonna conquer, and then since it's ready, it can just gank over to the other battlefield. So this is just an insane combo. And I mean, Ride the Wind is a card that you can use with a lot of cards, like Tryndamere, for example, is also a very funny interaction that I kind of want to try out. But with the Vi, in this deck is really good because the Vi is so turned on by the whole discard package. So when it's time to use it, it's gonna be like at least a 10, 11, 12 might unit. So yeah, this is just really good. And then, of course, we are playing the Jinx signature spell, Super Mega Death Rocket, 4 energy, 1 power, deal 5 to a unit, and when you conquer, you may discard 1 to return this from your trash to your hand. So I really like this card because it deals 5, which is gonna kill a lot of the units that we're gonna face in this meta. And then it kind of becomes an extension of your hand while it's in the trash, because if you don't need it, you can just let it be there. And then if you do need it, you can just conquer and then get it back again. So it's really, I really like that flexibility. But I'm not sure that I'm going to run it as a 3 of, because I mean, it is nice to have and I do want to see it every game, but you rarely want to see, like, have 2 of them in the hand at the same time. So maybe this is also going to go down to a 2, but for now I'm running it as a 3 of. And then we also play Fight or Flight, 2 energy, hidden, action, move a unit from a battlefield to its base. Yeah, I mean, we are playing the aggro plan, and we don't really have a good way of, I mean, our units aren't that strong, at least not on defense. So if our opponent tries to attack us with a huge unit, we can just use this to just bounce it back. So this is just a really, really good defensive card in this deck. And also, like, it could be used aggressively as well, but I mean, that's more rare that you do that. But yeah, this is just a 3 of, really, really solid purple card. And then for our final spell, we are playing 3 cleave, 1 energy, action, give a unit assault 3 this turn. So this is just a really, really cheap card to kind of help us get over some units when we're attacking into them. Like, this deck really likes to go first, but if we're forced to go second, and our opponent kind of gets to develop on a battlefield first, this is just a really cheap way to kind of let us to get back that tempo. So yeah, and then like the Jinx with this card is like, it makes the Jinx attack for a 9 might, which is, I mean, gonna get over basically anything. So yeah, this is just a really, really good card. And for the runes, we are running 8 Fury and 4 Chaos. And for the battlefields, we are running a Reaver's Row. When you defend here, you may move a friendly unit to the base. Just really good. Like I said, we are an attacking deck. We are way better at attacking than defending. So this just kind of lets us protect our stuff, and then allows us to attack back with like assaults, for example. And then we have the Arena's Greatest. At the start of each player's first beginning phase, that player gains 1 point. We are an aggro deck, and if we can just make the game shorter, then this is, I mean, we're gonna do that. So this is just perfect for this deck. And then for the final battlefield, we are playing Zon Barons. When you conquer here, discard 1, then draw 1. So it just synergizes really well with our deck, and also helps to fill the grave for the Vi when we want to go for the finish. So yeah, this is just a really good battlefield. And then, I mean, the sideboard, of course, is going to change, but for now we're running 2 Brynner Thundersong. When you play me, opponents can play cards this turn, so this is just really good against spell decks, and then especially against Kai'Sa. And then we also have Fading Memories, which is more for the Aurora decks that play a lot of huge units, and the gear. So give a unit at a battlefield or a gear temporary. So this just lets us, I mean, kill anything for 4 energy, which is not bad. And then finally we are playing 3 Falling Star. Do this twice, deal 3 to a unit. Now I think this probably should be in the main deck because we really struggle against Master Yi, and this Falling Star is just a really effective way to take care of Master Yi's units because it can't be defied. So I think this probably should be in the main deck, but I mean we didn't run into any Master Yi today, so I don't know. I'm kind of going back and forth between it, but I don't really know what I want to take out for it either, so for now it's going to remain on the design board. And that is the deck list. Now it is time to go into some games to kind of see this deck in action. But before we do that, I would really appreciate it if you would just take the time to leave a like, subscribe, and maybe even drop a comment. It really helps the channel. So yeah, without further ado, let's jump into the games, and I'll see you at the end for the wrap-up. Okay, so first game is going to be against Viktor. We are on the Reaver's Row battlefield, and he is on the Triferian War Camp. So let's see how this goes. Reaver's Row is a pretty good battlefield against Viktor because it does a lot for us, but not as much for him. We're going to lead off with a Traveling Merchant. He's going to lead off with a Soaring Scout plus a token. Yep, we're going to draw into the Flame Chomper. So here we have a choice, because when we attack with a Merchant, we can discard either the Scrap Heap or the Flame Chompers. I decided to just go for the Scrap Heap, and then we draw into another Scrap Heap and a Flame Chompers. So for those of you confused, that is, we discard one, but then we draw one for the ability of the Merchant, but then we also draw one since we discarded the Scrap Heap. So it's kind of a 2 for 1. Yeah, so we kind of have all of our discard payoffs in our hand now. So here we have a choice, because I could technically play out the Jinx, the champion. I could discard the Flame Chompers, for example, to get a lot of tempo early, which might not be a terrible move, but the thing is that I would have to recycle 3 runes to do so. So it would be pretty expensive. And also I think I want to play out the Jinx when I have something that I want to attack into as well, because then I can use the Accelerate on the same turn. Yeah, so we just decide to hard cast the Noxus Hopeful. We can't really play out anything else, because the Scrap Heap, we can play that out, but we don't really want to play it out. We want to discard it instead. So yeah, it does feel pretty bad to play the Noxus Hopeful for 4 energy, but you know, it is what it is. We're gonna move back. Here we are gonna use the Flame Chompers when we move with the Traveling Merchant. And then he's gonna conquer again with a Soaring Scout. Okay. Alright, so we are on 5 energy. Drew into a Gust, which is pretty good. Traveling Merchant is gonna go into the Scout. I forget to use the ability here, but I'm gonna discard the other Scrap Heap, draw into 2 more cards. Yep, I'm gonna attack into the Sprite token. Draw 1. No, draw 1. Get 1 point. Then I'm gonna just fortify this battlefield with the Flame Chompers, and I'm gonna play out the yeah, then I'm just gonna play out the Chemtech Enforcer and the Flame Chompers. Yeah, I decided to put them both on the base just because I don't want to get blown out by putting everything on the battlefield and then him having like a buff spell, for example. So that's why I just played it into the base instead. Because if he does clear my board, I still have a few units to come back with, you know. And then we also, in case something bad happens, we do have the Gust and the Fight or Flight open. So we're feeling pretty good at this point. Okay, it's gonna attack into us with everything. Okay, so here we do start with the Fight or Flight. Because I mean, his units are just gonna destroy ours, but if we do this, then we will at least live with 1 unit, and he will lose both his tokens. Setting him back quite a bit, and he's gonna smoke screen. He's probably gonna smoke screen the Flame Chompers, which is the biggest one, so that's gonna go to 1. So now I total have 3 might on the board, and he has 4, which is not good. But we do have the Gust as well, and gusting a token. Of course, tokens can't go to hand, so it's just gonna destroy the token. And then we are gonna survive with the Traveling Merchant, and he's not gonna be able to get any points this turn, which is pretty good for us. And then he's gonna play out the Machine Evangle, yeah. I mean, I do have the Death Rocket on hand, but I don't really wanna Evangle the... No, I don't really wanna destroy the Evangle. See, I'm thinking about it here. But I decided to go for the Sprite Mother instead, just because if I destroy the Evangle, he's gonna get a bunch of tokens, which I don't really want. I wanna keep his board small, not big. And then we're gonna move back with a Merchant. We're gonna discard the the Cleave. We're gonna play out the Seal. I mean, usually I don't like playing out Seals unless I'm gonna use the energy right away. But in this case, I just wanted to get the Jinx ability off next turn, so that's why I played it out anyways. And I mean, I could have played out the Jinx, but the Jinx doesn't really accomplish anything here because I have a lot of units on the board, and I want to conserve the Jinx until I actually need to use it. Plus, I don't want to discard the Ride the Wind, because the Ride the Wind is one of our win cons. So yeah. But he is down to 1 unit on board, which is where we want to be. Okay, he's going to attack into the war camp. We can't really do anything about that. Yep. He's going to go 1 point, go to 3, and then he's going to play out. Or he's not going to play out. Then he's going to play out Inaction Drummer. Use the Victor ability to get a recruit token. And just passed us with 3 energy open. Okay, so we draw 2 cards. We draw 2 stack deck, which is not bad. They're gonna let us dig through our deck to find some good stuff. We're gonna go for the fight or flight just to get some extra defense on. And then we are gonna find the Vi, because we do have the ride the wind in hand, and we are on 6 points. So the Vi could just win us the game here. But we still have to be careful because he does have 3 energy open and 2 cards in hand, so he could have something. Yeah, we're gonna attack with the Enforcer, offer the trade here. He's gonna Hidden Blade that. Okay. He's gonna Hidden Blade his own unit to draw some cards and then also get a bunch of units, or a bunch of recruits. But we are on 7 points and we do have the Vi in hand with the Ride the Wind, so we are feeling pretty good at this point. And then we're just gonna build up this Trifarian War Camp, just because if he wants to attack into it, we're gonna clear some of his units away so that he has less units to kind of deal with our stuff on the next turn. Because we are gonna try to go for the win next turn. Okay, he's gonna play the Stupefy on the Noxus Hopeful. He's probably just digging for something, because that doesn't really accomplish anything, because I can just, if he attacks into it, I can just move it back since he is on the Reaver's row. And yeah, he's gonna attack into it with a Drummer and a Recruit, and yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna move back. He's only on 4 points after that conquer, and we're on 7, so we're feeling pretty good about this game. Then he's gonna play out the Darius. Okay, so he's gonna get a big unit to attack into us as well, but we do have the fight or flight in hand, so that Darius is probably not gonna be able to accomplish much. Yep, he's gonna go attacking with everything. And I mean, we are gonna lose this battlefield anyways, but that's what we expected. But we do want to get rid of the Darius, just because when we eventually go for the Vi next turn, we don't want to have to deal with the Darius as well. We'd rather just swing into a bunch of small tokens instead. Yep, and then we are gonna take 3 of his guys with us, leaving him with just 1 recruit token. Oh, yeah. Yep. He's gonna go to 5. Okay, we're gonna draw into a scrap heap. I mean, we're not really worried about the scrap heap at this point, because we are going to go for the Vi and the Ride the Wind to hopefully secure the victory. Yep, play out the Vi. We're gonna bottom deck everything, so that is gonna be 12 cards, so the Vi is gonna go to a 15. And then we're gonna Ride the Wind. And now, here I make a mistake. Don't do like me. Don't just swing into 2 open energy when playing against Viktor, because in my head, in this situation, I was thinking like, oh yeah, Viktor doesn't have any removal spells for 2 energy. Except Hidden Blade, I guess. So yeah, this was a bit of a silly move by me. I just swung into the Hidden Blade and then it just got blown out by it. So that is definitely something you have to be careful of. Like, always check your opponent's energy and kind of think if they could have something, and then also try to like play around that. But yeah, this sucked for us, but I mean, it's actually not that bad for us, because we do have 4 energy still, which means we can play out the Jinx. Yeah, I mean, we don't even need the Jinx. We can just gust the Drummer, which with the gust we just drew, and then go for the conquer that way. So yeah, we won in the end, but that definitely could have gone the wrong way as well if we didn't draw into something or didn't have the Jinx open. I mean, here we kind of have multiple lines of victory. But yeah, that was definitely a misplay on my part. I should not have just swung into that with him having 2 energy up. I should have at least tried to see what that could have been before doing that. But yeah, it worked out in the end anyways, so no thanks to me. Okay, so second game against Darius. We are still on the Reaver's Row, and he is still on the Trifarian War Camp. So let's see if we can steal this victory as well. Okay, so our opponent is on the play. He's gonna lead off with a Seal of Unity into the Vanguard Captain. Yeah, that's probably the strongest opening for that deck, is just developing 5 might on turn 1, divided amongst 3 bodies. We're gonna go for the stack deck. We're ideally trying to fight a discard payoff here, because we have 2 Chemtech Enforcer in hand, and we don't really want to discard the Vi or the Fight or Flight. So we just grab the Gust. I mean, it's gonna get discarded anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much. Yeah, just play the Enforcer, discard the Gust, and then pass turn. Yeah, that's like one of the things that can happen with this deck. You just draw one, like you draw all the discard kind of enablers, but then you don't draw any of the payoffs, so it feels not as good. So ideally we would have gotten the Flame Chompers there, but okay, it's gonna go ahead and conquer both battlefields. Gonna go up to 2 points, and then it's gonna play the Baited Hook. Okay, so he's all set up. Turn 1 into the Vanguard Captain, turn 2 into Baited Hook is gonna be pretty hard to beat for us. He's gonna go ahead and sacrifice the Vanguard Captain. He's looking for the Spectral Matron, which he finds. Yeah, this is gonna be an uphill battle. We're not gonna be able to take back that battlefield anytime soon. But okay, we draw into the Cleave. I mean, so the thing is, yeah, we're kind of trying to math this out, because we do have the cleave in hand, but yeah, he just has way too much might on that battlefield. Yep, Chemtech Enforcer swings into the Reaver's Row, getting a point, and then we're just gonna play out the other one, discard the Cleave. Okay, he's gonna cleave his Recruit, and we are just gonna move back with the Chemtech Enforcer. That's why Reaver's Row is so good at this deck, is because a lot of our units have Assault, like the Chemtech Enforcer and the Jinx have Assault. So they are much better on offense than defense. So the Reaver's Row just lets us come in attacking every turn. Yeah, he's really building up that battlefield, and like from this point we don't really have any like token hate in the main deck. But let's see what happens. Yeah, again I'm trying to math it out, but this time it's even more units. So okay, I go for the Traveling Merchant here and the Vi. So now I do want to enable the Jinx ability, the Legend ability. Okay, he's gonna use Baited Hook on the Manufacturer. He's gonna get out another Vanguard Captain. And he was thinking that he wanted to use the Vanguard Captain to get the tokens, but since the Vanguard Captain is the first card he played this turn, that the Legion effect doesn't happen, so he's just gonna play out the unit. But he can play out the Darius, because that is the second card he played this turn. Then that Darius gets ready and it gets +2, so that's now a 7 might unit. And we are considering using the Fight or Flight, but I mean, it doesn't really matter at this point. Yeah, and then it's just gonna fortify that battlefield even more. We draw into the Scrap Heap and the Noxus Hopeful, so we could potentially like swing with the Traveling Merchant and then discard the Scrap Heap to maybe find something, but okay, we're gonna Fight or Flight the... yeah, just Fight or Flight the Darius. I mean, and that is something that can happen with this turn. This deck is like, this deck really prefers to go first. And I mean, our opponent did have like the perfect draw as well, like the Vanguard Captain into the Baited Hook into the Spectral Matron is just so much tempo. Yeah, we're gonna Gust, and then because I'm thinking of Gusting the Vanguard Captain, but then I think, oh wait, everything has +1. So the only thing I can Gust is a token. But I mean, I did play it, so I just have to choose a token to bounce back, and of course the token dies because it can't go to hand. I'm gonna cleave the Chemtech Enforcer, and then I am gonna go for the Jinx. I mean, I haven't really math this out, but I'm pretty sure it's not enough. Yeah, so everything gets plus. Yeah, so here we're I'm kind of, so the numbers, we kind of decided to just show the actual might of the units. Instead of having like 2 numbers, you kind of have to add together. So the Chemtech Enforcer is a total of 8, because he gets 2 from his Assault, 3 from the Cleave, and then 1 from the War Camp. My Chemtech Enforcer is not a 10, it's only an 8. I guess I miscalculated something there, but yeah, now we're just gonna kind of start trading down everything. So the Jinx is gonna crash into the Captain, and the token, and yeah, and then we're just gonna start removing stuff one by one by one. And then when all of my damage is dealt, he is actually only left with a Vanguard Captain and a Recruit token. But the problem is that, and I can attack into that with the Vi, but if I attack into it with the Vi, he's just gonna kill it with the Darius. So I'm hoping to find something next turn that can help me, like swing into both battlefields while also preserving the Vi, like a Fight or Flight, for example. Or Ride the Wind would also be good. So we did actually manage to clear that whole battlefield, even though it looked pretty grim for us. And that is thanks to all of the assault. Right, okay, so he's gonna Vayne, we're just gonna move back. Yeah, that's a slight misplay from me, because I went back with the Traveling Merchant. It says discard one and draw one, but even if you don't have anything in hand, you still draw one. So I should have done one card here. He's gonna play another Spectrum Matron into the Vanguard Captain and just start rebuilding that battlefield. Yep. And then he's gonna Baited Hook. On the Recruit token, or on a Recruit token. So we can find something that is 3 might or more. Okay, he's actually gonna whiff. He didn't find anything. That's good for us. There's 2 might less we have to worry about, but he does still have the Darius in the in the base. Okay, he decides to go into the battlefield with it, with draw into a Fight or Flight, and then also draw into a Traveling Merchant. Yeah, so we attack with the Traveling Merchant, try to dig for something, and the Super Mega Death Rocket is not a bad draw actually, because now we can Super Mega Death Rocket either the Darius or the Vayne, and then we can attack into the Trifarian War Camp with the Vi, like buff it up with the ability, and then get the Death Rocket back, and then Death Rocket the other card in the Reaver's row. So that is actually going to clear his whole board, and then we're just going to have to pray that he doesn't draw anything that is accelerated. Yep, we're gonna kill that. Kill off the Darius first. Always good to just kill off the biggest unit first. And then we kind of do the math. We have to kind of count his might and then just get 1 might above that. So after some calculating, that means we have to go up to 11. Yep, 11. And then we get 1 from the Trifarian War Camp, which means we're at 12, and then he's on 11 total. So we just clear his battlefield, and then we use the Death Rocket ability in the grave to discard the Fight or Flight, and then we're going to use the Death Rocket to kill the Vayne and clearing his whole board. Now at this point we're just praying that he doesn't have anything to get rid of our Vi, because if he does, then I mean we're not going to get back. And I mean even then we are only on 3 points and he's on 7 points, so but yeah, he does draw another Vayne. He's going to swing into our Vi, kill it, and then just bounce it back as well, which okay, he's not going to bounce it back. He thought about bouncing it back, but if he does, then he's not going to get the Conquer next turn, or he's not going to get the whole point next turn. Yeah, we just draw into a Scrap Heap. We're going to play the Scrap Heap because we want to draw into something, preferably like a Death Rocket again. We get the Stack Deck as well. We're going to use that to try to find something, and we don't. And unfortunately, since the Noxus Hopeful don't have Accelerate, we're just going to lose this. Yeah, so I mean, Jinx really prefers to go first, but as we saw, we actually managed to take back that game, and if he hadn't drawn the Vayne there, we were very likely to kind of pull this game back, because Darius, kind of like Jinx, doesn't really do a very good job of recovering after everything has been cleared. But it did draw the Vayne, which just was enough to clear our Vi, which was the last unit on the board, and then unfortunately we didn't draw anything accelerated, and we also didn't draw anything to get rid of the Vayne. But yeah, that was a really close one, but then also a couple misplays for me, and just the fact that he drew the perfect start again to get so much value in the starting turns. He just ran away with the game from us. So yeah, but okay, on to the next one. And then game 3 is gonna be against Kai'Sa, the big bad wolf of the format. We are still on the Reaver's row. We just love that battlefield, but our opponent is also on that, so both the battlefields are in our favor. So yeah, let's hope if we can sneak this victory away. Kai'Sa is not the best matchup for Jinx, but we do have a lot of aggression, so let's see if that's enough. We do have a bit of a weird opening hand with a double seal, but we are going to lead off with a Traveling Merchant. He's going to lead off with a nothing, so no turn 1 play against Jinx is not the best, but is really good for us. We do draw the stack deck. We're probably going to play that, hoping to find a discard payoff. We are going to find the Flame Chomper, so that's pretty good. And then we're going to go play the double seal. Yep. So now basically we never have to recycle again. That's not bad. And then we attack with the Traveling Merchant, discard the Flame Chompers to play it out. And here I have a massive misplay. Maybe you see what it is. Yeah, I didn't draw off the Traveling Merchant. I was so fixed on the Flame Chompers that I forgot to draw off it. Which means that I have to play if I want to play the Chem Tech Enforcer, I have to discard the Ride the Wind, which is not what I want to do. But I live with my misplays. I do get the point, and I do play the Chem Tech Enforcer, and I do discard the Ride the Wind and apply to my opponent. Yeah, so that's a pretty big misplay. I should be at 1 card in hand here. Maybe the Ride the Wind, maybe something else, but yeah. I should be at 3 cards, or 1 card I mean. But yeah, our opponent is going to play a Lecturing Yordle. Yep, got a draw. Which is not the most aggressive play, so I mean, for now we're feeling pretty good about this. And then it's going to play a Falling Star. Okay, the Falling Star is going to take care of the Chem Tech Enforcer and the Flame Chomper. So that is a pretty big tempo loss. But I mean, it is to be expected. I mean, he is Kai'Sa after all, and he does run a full set of Falling Star. So, but then again, it's like, he played the Falling Star now, so he doesn't have it later. But we are going to draw into a Noxian Hopeful and the Fight or Flight. So a bit of a weird situation, because we don't really want to discard either of those cards. But if we move the Traveling Merchant, we have to discard 1. So yeah, we decided to discard the Fight or Flight. We're going to draw into another Merchant, which is going to allow us to play the Noxian Hopeful for 2, which is pretty good for us. He's going to get 1 point with the Lecturing Yordle. And then he's going to play out the Kai'Sa. He decides not to play it accelerated. Maybe he wants to use something in hand. We're going to draw into a Vi and a Scrap Heap. Now Scrap Heap is very good with a Traveling Merchant because it allows us to discard that and then draw 2. Yep, Fight or Flight and a Gust. We're going to attack with an Noxian Hopeful into the Yordle. Trying to get a clean kill. He's going to play the Hextech Grey. Okay, so that's why he kept 1 rune open and why he didn't attack with Kai'Sa. Yep, -3. He has 3 health, and then we're gonna try to Gust the Lecturing Yordle and make it so that our Noxian Hopeful survives and we get the hold point. Or I mean, we get the conquer point, I mean. Okay, so we're gonna pass to him. We do have the Fight or Flight open, so we could potentially use that to deny the Kai'Sa getting some value. Okay, he's gonna play the Sprite Mother into the Sprite. The Sprite Mother is not as effective here because we could just bounce back whatever is at the battlefield that he's attacking. We contemplate going for the Fight or Flight here, just to deny him some draw value. Yeah, we decided to just let the Traveling Merchant go, just because we don't really want to discard either the Vi or the Fight or Flight, and if we use the battlefield to move back the Traveling Merchant, then we have to discard 1 of them. So we'd rather just let him get that, and then maybe we can use the Fight or Flight to save the Noxian Hopeful instead. Yep, he's going to play the Cleave on the Sprite. We are going to Fight or Flight the Sprite. And of course the Sprite having temporary is just going to die next turn. So that is just a very clean way to get rid of that. But he's going to Void Seeker the Noxian Hopeful and take it out anyways. So yeah, we're going to draw into a Scrap Heap and a Noxian Hopeful. So yeah, we're getting really lucky with all these discard payoffs. Like the Scrap Heaps are so good. We're going to play out the Vi, play out the Hopeful. This is also probably not the correct way to do this, because you don't really want to give your opponent any more information than you have to. And us playing out 2 cards means that, okay, he knows that we only have 1 card left, so it can only be as much or so much. But if we had 3 cards in hand, then it would be different. I mean, he doesn't have any runes up now, but just in general, it's usually better to attack before playing out anything, just to give your opponent as little information as possible. But okay. We also decide to play the Jinx. Yep, discard the Scrap Heap and then draw 1. And then we do get the Flame Chompers, which is pretty good because we can discard that off the Traveling Merchant. Yep, we're gonna bottom deck 1. And then we're gonna attack into the Kai'Sa with the Jinx. The Jinx of course having Assault, so it's gonna go up to 6. So I mean, we are at 6 points now, and Kai's is only at 2 points, and we do have 5 units on board. So this is looking pretty good for us. And also, like, when he attacks into this, we just move back, and because of the traveling merchant ability, it says discard 1 and then draw 1. But even if you don't have any cards on hand, it tries to discard 1 and then you draw 1 anyways. So now it's just a draw 1 for free, which is pretty good. And we draw into the 3rd Flame Choppers, which is, I mean, yeah, we're running really good this game. But I mean, we are drawing into a lot of cards, so it kind of makes sense as well. But yeah, that's why the Reaver's Row are so good in this deck, because we don't have to let our units die unnecessarily. We can just save them and then attack on our turn instead. Okay, he's gonna play Voidseeker on the Jinx, killing that. That is unfortunate. He's gonna get a draw, and then he's gonna conquer the Reaver's Row, get another draw, and a point. Yeah, I think our opponent actually forgot to draw there, so that's good for us. Both of us are making a couple of misplays today. Okay, he's gonna fortify that battlefield with the Inoxian Hopeful. But now we do have the Vi up, or we have the Vi, so if we can draw into a Ride the Wind, then we're just gonna win. Yep, he's gonna play out the Yordle, we're gonna draw into a Seal and a Stack Deck, which is gonna find us a Ride the Wind. Okay, so now we're just set up. He has 1 energy left. And with this big of a board, we can, I mean, we can basically take care of anything. So yeah, the Vi is gonna go up to a 16. Then we're just gonna attack into the battlefield with everything. I mean, we don't really have to do this, but we're just gonna do it just for fun, I guess. And then we are gonna use the Traveling Merchant to discard the Flame Choppers and get that out again. Not that it matters, but yeah, he's gonna move back the Kaiser. We're gonna kill 2 of his units. Then he's also gonna kill 2 of ours, and then we're just gonna Ride the Wind. Move the Vi over to the battlefield with the Spite Mother, and yeah, he has 1 energy up. He's not gonna be able to deal 13 damage off 1 energy, so yeah, we're gonna take that game away as well. And I mean, there you can really see the strength of Jinx. I mean, of course, the fact that he didn't have a play on turn 1 certainly mattered. But we just ran so well. We got all our Flame Choppers, we got at least 2 Scrap Heaps to just like keep getting value off the discards. And yeah, we actually had enough pressure that he didn't have enough removal to get rid of it and everything. So yeah, that was a very good showcase of Jinx. And but yeah, you can't really expect this to happen every time. But man, it feels good when it does. And game 4 is going to be against another Darius. We are on the Arena's Greatest battlefield, and our opponent is on the Candlelit Sanctum. So yeah, let's see if we can get the revenge. Okay, we're gonna lead off with a Chemtech Enforcer, discard the Scrapyard that we drew for turn, draw into the Fight or Flight, which is gonna be pretty good later on. He's gonna lead off with a Poro into the Trifarian Glory Seeker, a pretty good start for him as well. Yeah, we're gonna start with the Stack Deck here. We're gonna find another Stack Deck of Flame Choppers and a Scrap Heap. We're probably gonna go for one of the discard payoffs. Yeah, we're gonna go for the Flame Choppers just to get some more tempo with our discards. We're gonna get 1 point. Look at the top from the Candlelit Sanctum. And we decide to put the Cleave on top and then the Fight or Flight to the bottom. We already have a Fight or Flight, so we don't really need another one. Yeah, then we kind of decide to go back and forth between do we want to play Jinx or do we just want to play the Hopeful, and we decide to go for the Hopeful. We could also play the Traveling Merchant there into the Hopeful to kind of use all of our energy, which I think is probably the correct move, and then just save the Stack Deck for the next turn. But yeah, we decided to go do it like this. He's going to use the Cleave on a Trifarian Glory Seeker. We can't do much about that. He's going to kill the Chemtech Enforcer, get another point. Since we both got a point from the battlefield, my battlefield, he's gonna get another point with the Poro. And then it's gonna play a Vanguard Captain, getting 2 recruits. And pass to us. Yeah, so this battlefield is getting pretty big now. And we don't really want him we don't really want it to get too big. So we do have to deal with it at some point. But for now, we're just gonna attack into the Poro, get that battlefield, and then we decide to... Yeah, we decide to go for the Jinx here, discard the Flame Choppers to get it back, and then also discard the Traveling Merchant. Then we're going to cleave the Jinx. So the Jinx is now a 9, because she gets 2 from her own assault and then 3 from the cleave. So that is going to let us very cleanly take care of that battlefield. So now we're in total board control. He has 3 cards left. We have 3 units on the board. And we have a Fight or Flight and a backup Noxus Hopeful, so we're feeling pretty good. He's gonna Seal of Unity into the Darius. Yeah, the Darius is gonna take care of the Jinx, but we can't really do much about that. Yeah, I mean, we could have hidden the Fight or Flight as well, but I didn't really think of that in the moment, so we lost the Jinx, which may have been preventable. But okay, we're gonna draw into a Seal. Not really what we're hoping for. We have played the Seal and then just play the Hopeful. Yeah, so we are in the lead in terms of points because we're both on 5, but we got the 5 first. Okay. Yeah, he decided to go for the Spectral Mitron into the Vanguard Captain here. He decides to fortify this battlefield, which I don't think is correct because, like, if he builds up that, I'm just gonna like build up my battlefield, and since I'm in the lead, I'm gonna win that race. So I think he should instead like prioritize getting rid of my stuff on the other battlefield and conquer that as well, because now we can just kind of like go off on this one. Yeah, the Gust is going. The Fight or Flight is just way better than the Gust in this situation. Yeah, we're just gonna pass back. Okay, he's gonna play out the Draven, and the Draven is very scary because the Draven is currently a 9, which is not the greatest for us. But we do have the Fight or Flight, as I said, and if we're lucky we can draw into another one. Okay, now he is gonna start pulling back units, it seems. Okay, only one recruit. Again, I don't think that's correct because now if I just stay on this battlefield, then I'm just gonna win. I'm gonna get rid of the Darius, just so he can't move it back and then play 2 cards and then have it attack my battlefield. So again, this is just like protection for myself. But now we are feeling pretty safe because we are on 7 points. We have both the Gust and the Fight or Flight in hand. So okay, it's gonna Falling Star, which certainly is not good for us. But we do still have 8 might on the battlefield, so we might still be able to survive this. Yeah, it's not often you get to play defense with the Jinx, but that is also a skill of the game, I guess, to kind of know when you have to play aggressive and when you have to play defensive. And this is definitely a time where we want to play defensive. Okay, so we're going to Grand Stratagem. So again, like if he moved 1 more unit back to the base, he would have had enough to just take care of our battlefield. But now, since we do have the Fight or Flight, we can move back the Draven, which is, I mean, it is like a 14 now. And then we have just enough to survive with 1 Noxian Hopeful, and we get the point for holding. Yeah, so it is really important to identify and recognize when you have to play defense or when you have to play offense. We realized that a bit earlier than our opponent, which made us win this game. But also in like the second to last turn, our opponent definitely should have moved a few more units back to be able to swing in with the Grand Stratagem this turn. I mean, he might not have had it in his hand, but in any case, like, he should have just banked on us not having enough to take over his battlefield and then him being able to take over ours instead. So yeah, that was a big misplay by him, but I mean, we take those. Good for us. And for the final game, this is a bonus game against Ahri. And this is just to show what the Jinx can do when everything goes your way. So yeah, this is going to be a really quick one. We are on the Arena's Greatest again, so we kind of speed up the whole process, and then our opponent is on the Star-Tipped Peak, which doesn't really do much for us, but it does something for him. But yeah, let's see how we win this. Okay, so I mean, we're leading off already with the Chemtech Enforcer into the Flame Chompers, which is like the best start we could have. Yeah, we both get a point for the battlefield. Play the Chemtech into the Flame Chompers, and pass to him. Yeah, so we're going to be able to conquer both battlefields immediately, which is really good for us. He's going to play out the Ahri. Yeah, that's kind of what you want to do with this deck, is just play out the Ahri as soon as possible. We're going to go conquer the Star-Tipped Peak, and we're going to go conquer the Arena's Greatest. Get 2 points. We're going to stack deck. And we can get the Gust, or we can get the Rocket. Yeah, we decided to go for the Gust, because if he doesn't have a way to buff the Ahri, we can just bounce that back to his hand and set him back a ton. And yeah, I mean, had we known what we got this draw, we probably would have not gone for the Gust, but we get the Gust and the Fight or Flight, and we're gonna pass back to him. So, I mean, if he wants to attack into us now, we are definitely gonna Gust, and if he doesn't have something like a Discipline or On Guard or I mean, anything to buff him up, really, then that is going to set him back a lot. Okay, he's going to attack with the Ahri. We're going to go for it. Go for the Gust. Does he have anything? I mean, they usually do, right? He doesn't have anything, and that is going to set him back so much. I mean, he doesn't really have another choice. He just has to play it out. And here we can just play the Super Mega Death Rocket to try to kill it. He could have the Defy. He doesn't have the Defy either. Yeah, this is just... I mean, from this point, it's really hard for him to get back, and we're already on 5 points on turn 3. Okay, and he is going to play out the Echo with the Accelerate. He kind of miscounted because he thought he was on 6 runes, or he thought he didn't have to pay an extra rune for the Accelerate, so he can't actually do that. And notice that to get back the rune, he took off one off the top, which is a Calm rune and not a Mind rune, which will be relevant later on, so just remember that. But yeah, he's gonna go with another Ahri. Yep, and we're gonna go to 7 points. Yep, go to 7. We draw into the Chemtech Enforcer, and we have the Vi and the Fight or Flight. I mean, we basically have all we need here. Yeah, we're just gonna go back. I mean, we don't really need to go back. We can't just stay like this, but because we do have the Fight or Flight. But it is a bit safer to go back just in case he has something like a Defy, then the Fight or Flight is just gonna whiff. Yeah, it's gonna get 1 battlefield. We are gonna try to Fight or Flight that. Does he have the Defy now? He does not have the Defy. Yeah, this is not a good day for our opponent. Okay, yeah, so Singularity, like, remember I mentioned about the rune, that he only had like 1 Mind rune left. I mean, if he had done it correctly, then he would have had like one more Mind rune, so that he could play the Singularity, and we just kind of talked about that, and I was like, yeah, just pretend that you didn't ever try to play the Echo. So yeah, it's gonna play Singularity, getting to kill 2 of our guys, and then, but you know, we go Conquer here, and then we have the Jinx for the win. And yeah, I mean, this was kind of a silly game. Yeah, we're just gonna cleave just for some BM. Yeah, they were gonna get the win. Yeah, I mean, this was not a real game, right? Like, this was just a bonus, just to show how things could work in a magical Christmas land where everything is perfect and everything goes your way. So yeah, I mean, Ahri didn't have anything. He didn't have the buffs. He didn't have the defies, and we just got everything. So yeah, that was a fun one. And that is Jinx. We actually did way better than I thought today. We even managed to win against Kai'Sa, and that was a best of 3 game, and we actually won 2 out of 3 games. So yeah, I was really impressed. But again, I mean, we are top decking, so if we just draw really badly off the top deck, then this deck is just gonna do nothing. But like, you can kind of see in those games that if we get lucky with like kind of drawing our discard payoffs as well as our discard outlets, this just can run away with games because we're so aggressive in the start. But then you can also see when we're forced to go second, we're not as powerful. Like, it's really hard for us to kind of, if we lose the early tempo, it's really hard for us to get points in the late game. We kind of want to capture as fast as possible in the beginning and then kind of sneak our way into the last ones. But when that happens, this deck is just really good, and it's also really fun to play. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe, and I hope you take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.